Hey everybody, how you doing? Welcome to another edition of Men on the Rise. Today, we're going to have a great conversation. I have a special guest that I want to make sure we give him the respect that he's well due because he's doing some amazing things, have a journey that he's come through, and we're going to have a great conversation. So today, just roll up your sleeve and being prepared for greatness. And today, we're going to be talking about a subject that all of us need to talk about, but sometimes don't want to talk about. And we're going to talk about finances. Wow, because all of us want money, but we got to make sure we are taking care of the money that we have in order to gain more. And so today I have a guest. Like I said, he come from the bottom. Now he's here. My guy, Wilkins. He's Mr. It's Possible. So I want to welcome him to the stage. How you doing, my guy, Wilkins?
Man, I'm doing great. Thank you very much, man, for having me here. It's amazing, man. Thanks you're doing with Men on the Rise. This is powerful. Thank you very much.
Man, so good. Man, I get fired up every time I hear you in the room. I know we're in a community together, man. I love your energy because you're so you live that it's possible concept. And so
Possible,
I want
man.
you to kind of tell the people a little bit about yourself, but even I want you to dive in and tell them what's the purpose of why you say it's possible.
Well, the reason I say it's possible is because of where I came from, man. I was born in a very small village in Haiti, very small village. Now, if you have been outside of the U.S., don't even think about it. You can't imagine where it is because for us to take a shower or a bath, we had to go to the river. I used to walk 2 hours to go to school, crossing the river, rolling up my pants, crossing the river, taking off my shoes to cross the river to go to school, go up the mountain and go down the mountain, then keep walking to get to school, just to get to school, man. So this is where I came from. So I lived there to the age of 20, 21. So after that, I moved to the Dominican Republic in a new country. So my life is a movie, I can tell you. So fast forward 2014, my family and I, we moved to the U.S., so here's the land of opportunities so that we can do the things that we want to do. That's why I can be here today.
Man, that's so awesome, man. So when you say you come from the bottom, you know what that looked like. I imagine like when we say we don't have nothing in the refrigerator, we definitely we just don't have what we want. But when you said you actually mean it, right? And so
Man, yes, sir. Yes, sir. My father died when I was 15. So living in that village, it was tough because he was the breadwinner, as we say here, the only one who was working in the family. So when he died, man, we had nights going to bed hungry, days waking up not knowing what we're going to eat for the day.
wow.
Man, that's why it became so tough after high school. I decided, man, to say I'm going to go to the Dominican Republic to keep going to school and look for a better life.
Wow.
And this new country was not easy. There were occasions, man, I would spend up to 3 days without food in the Dominican Republic, right? So that means, yes, I know what it is to come from the bottom.
Wow, man, that's a powerful story, man. So once you got over here to the United States, what was your journey like then? Were you in school? What were you doing with your life at that point in time?
Getting to the United States was eye-opening for me because when I got here, well, being outside of the United States, first of all, being in Haiti, we thought that everyone here in the U.S. were rich, right? We thought that everybody had money. Like you would be walking down the street, people would hand you money. So that's why we thought every white people were rich. So when I came here, and it was in Miami, and passing down the bridge, I saw people under the bridge living there. Now I was questioning myself, is this where I wanted to come so that my life could change? And then when I saw the people I was looking up to, who've been here in this country for years, and see how they work to make a living, I said, man, is this the life I was dreaming of all the time I was over there? So this is where I decided to say there has to be something better than that. So I saw this man once. He was talking. My wife was in the room with me. And then I saw this man on YouTube talking. I said, man, this man knows how to talk. This was Tony Robbins. I didn't know who he was. I said, man, I want to talk like that. And then I started to check online. and I saw that he had an event in Chicago. Now I just came here to the U.S. I didn't know anything about the country. And I told my wife, I'm going to Chicago. She said, hey, man, you can go. I said, yeah, I bought the ticket. It was July 2015. July 2015, I went to Chicago to the first event of Tony Robbins. And this is how, man, I started with changing my life. Then I started working for Les Brown, took class with the Les Brown Institute in Florida. So this is where everything started, man.
Wow, man, that's awesome, man. So then when you made your mind up, you going, see, you didn't know the distance between Miami and between Chicago. But some people would be like, nah, I'll wait till he come to my area before I go to his show. But you was like, nah, I'm going.
I'm
Where
going,
he's
man.
at. You gonna be there. That's awesome, man. So I want to dive into, man, coming here and seeing the different cultures. So knowing over in Haiti, I don't know the work ethic there, but what was the difference that you saw that you knew you when you get that opportunity that you know you're going to take advantage of it? So what was the difference in their cultures of how we do things here when you saw it?
Man, there is a mindset over there in Haiti. The mindset is believing that other countries have some advantages that we do not have. And when things get hard, we believe it gets hard because we're in Haiti. We thought that if we were somewhere else, it would not be hard like that. So that's why sometimes people don't take advantage of the things they can't take advantage of. Is because they think it's because, man, that's Haiti. That's how it's supposed to be. Things are hard in this country. But when I came here, I saw how hard people work for what they have. I said, man, if people in Haiti knew how hard people work, how early people wake up in the morning, how late they go to bed at night, and we do the same thing over there, people would not complain about being in Haiti and trying to be in a different country like that.
Wow, man. So that's awesome, man. Now, have you had a chance to go back home and visit Haiti since you've been here and see how your
Not
family?
yet.
Okay.
Not yet. Yeah.
Well, man, that's awesome, man. So let's talk about where things are starting to shift now to where it led you into this space that you're now in with the financial company. And I want you to kind of lay it out there. So let me just hear a little bit more about, you know, where you at and what led you into this space that you're in now currently.
Well, yes. As I was moving forward in 2015, I got my license. I got my license as to get life insurance license. So from there, I started to learn about finances. So knowing that my father died in when I was 15 years old over there in Haiti, we didn't have insurance, right? We didn't have things like that. That's why we had to go through so much. Now, when I got here, I saw that we have the opportunity that people can get insurance. They can insure themselves. If something happens to them, their family doesn't need to go through the same thing that my family went through. So that became for me, man, a ministry. Because I say, man, I don't want to see any other 15-year-old boy going through the things that I went through after my father died. And here we have the opportunity to do it. But I say, I'm going to do everything that I can. I'm going to learn everything that I can learn to teach as many people I can teach how to secure themselves, because I don't want to see that happening with families.
Man, that's good, man. That's good, man. So now that you say that's your goal to really do that, how do you go about doing that? Do you have now you have an agency and how do you go about educating and making sure that you help people? Are you building a team? What does that look like?
Well, yes, we have our office here. It's Possible Insurance and Financial Services here in Fayetteville, Georgia. We have a pretty neat office. You can check it on Google. It's Possible Insurance Agency. You will find us on Google. So thanks to God, man, we've been able to get in this space to really change people's lives in the community, where people come into the office to take classes on financial literacy, to learn how they can budget, learn how to save money the right way, learn how to secure their asset, protect themselves against stroke, heart attack, or cancer. These type of things, they can wipe out a lifetime of savings. If you don't have something that you can tap in, if cancer knocks on your door, if a heart attack and stroke, in this country, we are more likely to get sick before we die. That's why it's really so. I feel so good when I can teach people how to do these things, man.
Man, I can tell you, man, that's awesome that you're doing that. I just think about a lot of us sometimes wasn't taught this at the house growing up. Like myself, the finances wasn't taught from the dinner table. We didn't talk about, budgeting. We didn't talk about life insurance. We knew of it, but very little did we ever prepare and have those discussions. And so I understand some people who turn their head when this type of conversations come up, but I know it's necessary for us to have these conversations. So I know, like myself, I didn't really start doing, like, say, learning about budgeting and stuff like that into my later years, and really start knowing that it's a necessary part of my my financial growth. And so I know how important that is. And so it's good that you realize that. And so when you came to the country, was it, you have any resources, or you kind of had to really build up from nothing to get a little bit of edge in order to move forward?
Oh, my friend. Well,
Well,
we came here married with two children. My wife was pregnant.
mm,
And then so our third child, he was born 1 month after we got here in the country. Thank goodness we had our family here in the country that gave us a place to stay. Mr. Elephant Jean, with all the family. This is our in-laws. That's where we spent 2 years. And then from there, we moved on. But, being a man, head of a family, you cannot expect people to give you everything you want or you need. So early, when I first got here, I was looking for jobs everywhere. My first job, I was in Miami. I got a job in Coral Springs. I had to take 3 buses to this place to work. It was $12 an hour, my friend. $12 an hour. So 3 buses. Sometimes you got to take the train. You see, sometimes the buses just go by, and then you got to run behind the bus, chase the bus, my friend, to get to work. So it was not easy. We got to start from the bottom. But you know what? It's not success is not where you are, but it's how far you have come from.
mm,
So, and when you look forward, man, you keep going. If you have a goal, you have a dream, it's something you want to achieve, my friend, is just keep going. Stay in the fight, stay in the game long enough, my friend, you're gonna win. That's
mm.
all I can say.
Man, that's so good, man. But even when we're
Yeah.
talking about this, man, it makes me think about, you have to not only think about the where you're heading, but you got to make sure you're taking care of your whole self. So even though, like I say, you when you started out, man, it wasn't easy. And I like the fact that when you came over to the country, you had somebody else who supported you, because sometimes, especially in the African American culture, we're loners. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you may have family, but very rare do we, do like other coaches do, and we support and we make sure we taking care of each and every one. And so that's important that you said you had somebody who, when you got here, you wasn't alone. You had somebody else who was supported and made sure you were good for a season. Now, you didn't
Yeah.
depend on that long term, but you have some support. And that means a lot when you have some people that are in your corner. And so now, and when that same seed, I always say, pass the blessings forward. Just don't allow, what I'm
Yes.
saying, you're always good to say thank you for where the blessing came from. But the greater thing
Hmm.
is now that I had opportunity to help someone else along the journey. So I don't know
Yeah.
if that's something that you practice, but I really wanted to talk more about that, because I would say it's one thing to get a blessing, but it's another thing to be a blessing.
Oh yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes, yes, sir. Yes, so this is what we do. Every time we can help someone, man, we help them. I remember I was in Miami once. Some guy, strange guy, came to me and asked, "Man, can you give me 25 cents?" So I had $1 in my pocket. I said, "Man, no problem. I have the dollar." And he said, "Man, no, I just need 25 cents." said, man, you can have the dollar, no problem. And this man came, gave me a hug. He said, man, I didn't know people like you existed anymore in this world. So that man, I feel good. And everywhere I go, I can help people. Man, that's what I do.
Mm.
I want to pass the blessing on in everything I do. Yeah.
Man, that's so important, man. Like I said, I understand. In order to, we want things to come for us. So in other words, we want to have the nice things. There's nothing wrong with that. It's great to want to have great things, but sometimes we miss the principle of sowing seed. And so before you can, ask for any fruit or anything like that, any food, you have to do what? You have to plant that seed first. And that's the same thing. That same principle applies in other areas of our life. So we want love. Guess what? We have to plant love before we actually receive it. If you want wealth, you have to sow it. You have to sow these things that you're asking for. And so that's the same thing. That's a principle that works. That's why I will always tell you, I will never be broke. Why? Because I understand the principle that you have to do. You have to plant that seed in advance and keep nourishing it and keep watering it. And guess what? It will bring forth the harvest that you're looking in return. And so that's important, man. So I don't know if you speak about that in finances, but you have to make deposits.
Well, exactly. Yes, well, that's one thing. Going back to finances, you're talking about a seed. I consider money as a seed, right? Money is a seed. And one thing you never do with a seed is you never eat the seed. I'll say that. If you have a seed, you never eat the seed. You have to plant it. So your money is considered as a seed. If you eat your money, you take it, you use it up, that means you eat the seed. Now, if you take that money, you plant it somewhere, that means you plant a money tree, and that tree is growing and now giving you fruits. Now you can eat the fruits of your tree. So that's what we teach people how to do, is that you have the seed. We have people who have money in 401ks, and then they go out, they take money in the 401k, and then they deplete the account. They eat the seed. We say, no, don't do that. Here's what you do. If you have money in 401k, 403bs, take that money, roll it over into a fixed index annuity. You will never outlive that money. That means you plant a seed, and then that seed will give you fruit for the rest of your life. So yes, that's how I consider money.
Man, that's awesome, man. So it's one thing to have money. Sometimes we can have money and still find ourselves broke, because sometimes we can spend more than we have. Right. And so I want to talk to that individual sometimes struggling to get to that level of getting out of debts. And so whether it's having more than, credit card, whatever their situation, but moving from that area of having debt. So I want you to give us a quick strategy on how you go about helping individuals dealing with that thing called debt.
Man, the Bible talks about this a lot. But the first thing I would say, that we need to understand debts. We need to understand that there are good debts, there are bad debts, right? Sometimes people say, man, avoid debts at all costs. But whatever you want to do in this country, you need to get some debts, right? You want to buy a house, right? You need to get into debt to buy the house. If you don't have, $300,000, $400,000 sit down somewhere, you want to pay it cash, you need to take a loan to buy the house. You need to start a business, right? You're gonna get a business loan to invest in your business. Now, if you take a loan so you can invest, you take a loan so that you can get things that will produce more money for you, this is a good debt. Now, bad debts are things that when people see other people have something and they want to have it too. Right? They want to have it and they get into debt, credit card debts. They go on Macy's, wherever they go, say, man, do you want to apply for this? They apply for it just to get some clothes, to get shoes, whatever, things that will not give them more money. This is a bad debt. So if you have fallen into bad debts and then your credit is bad right now, I would say do all that's possible to get out of debts, right? Get out of it. So one thing you can do is to start paying your small credit card first, right? So you have a $200 credit card, pay that off first, and then pay the 1,000, go up, pay the 3,000 one. And then as you do that, you will have less accounts to be paying on, and then it will become easier for you to knock out the 10,000 one, the 20,000 one. Right. So yeah, that's a small strategy people can use to get out of debt. And then yes, get more income, If you can create some ways to make more money, you have some skills you can use to make more money, do that. So you can create more income for yourself, and then you can knock out all your debts.
Man, that is good, man. You remind me of my guy, Robbie Kiyosaki. That's where I get it from. Good debt versus bad debt. And I know my guy, what's his name? The other financial guy, Ramsey. He's really against debts altogether, but it is a such thing as you can have good debt, and that's where money's that's creating an asset for you. That's actually like an investment, money that's putting things in your ways of putting money in your pocket, and so it's good to invest into those things so they can then pay off those other debts that you have. So you want to create good debts like real estate, like you investing into the stocks or other type of business opportunities, so that then it create revenue for you to be able to take care of the other debts that you may have. And so it's good to have a nice car, but definitely let your asset, your good debts pay for that, right?
That's right. That's right. You got it right. So and one thing we always tell people when they come to our office here in our workshops is you always want to protect your money before you put it outside in the market. So how you protect your money? What we teach people to do is to build their own bank, right? Be your own bank. The reason you got to do that, let's say, like you talked about real estate is a good investment. It's really good. But one thing is that if you have $200,000 right now, right? Let me ask you this question. No, I won't ask you. When I ask people that, if you have $200,000, what would you do with it? They say, man, I'm going to buy a building. I'm going to put in a business, whatever, right? So this is what I would do too if I didn't know what I know now. So the first thing I tell people to do, if you have $200,000, don't drop it in real estate right away. What you do, drop it inside of an IUL, Index Universal Life. And then watch, man, that's his game right here. Okay, so you drop it inside of an Index Universal Life. That money is protected. You will never lose that money. This is one place we can tell people legally, can tell people you will never lose your money. So any other investment, we got to give them the disclaimer, only put money you can afford to lose. But here, I will never ask people to put money they can afford to lose, because in this place, you will never lose a dime. Okay? You put that $200,000 into an IUL, and then you come back, you take a loan against that. You take the loan, then you go put that loan into a real estate. So what you did is that your dollar is working for you twice. All right. So instead of putting that $200,000 into real estate right away, protect that money. So now, if the money you put into real estate is making money for you, your money is making money twice, because inside of the IUL, you have compound interest, like 12% a year working for you. And then that money also gives you a protection against heart attack, cancer, stroke. Like if the person has a stroke, a cancer, whatever, they have money they can access because they have money inside of the IUL. Now, if the money you put inside of into the real estate does not work, if you lose the real estate money, guess what? You didn't lose anything, because your money is still inside of the IUL. This is a play right there, my friend.
Yeah, man. That sounds good, man. I'm going to give you a little pushback because I do have infinite banking. For those that don't know what that is, I was kind of give you a quick understanding where you have it as either called a universal life insurance policy, or either it's called infinite banking.
Index.
Yeah, index banking,
Universal life.
Yeah, universal life. And so I have a policy such as that. And what it is that you maybe have one of mine is pretty much like you pay a certain amount every month towards it, or you can put a lump sum, but every year you have to put a certain amount towards it, maybe 10,000, whatever. So it's really a whole life, right? A whole life policy. And it creates where it gets compound interest over time. And so you may put in, let's say 10 years, you may put $1,000, or let's say 10,000, it may yield up to, in the next 10 years, it makes make that money to 100,000, 500,000, depending on how the index go. And but what's the good thing is when you say you loan against it versus you borrow, versus you take the money out, that money is always secure. It's in there. But the thing I also understand that is if every time I pull from it, it is like you take out a loan. So it does have interest in there, correct? And so I don't understand it all the way through and through, but I do want you to kind of explain that so people don't think that it's it's not really a penalty, but do know there is some things where you just don't want to take all your monies out because you want to make sure you're making smart choices and decisions when you are touching that money, right?
Yes, that's a great question. Yes, so here's what happens when you take a loan. Let's say you have $200,000 inside of your index universal life as cash value. We call it cash value. So you come out. You don't withdraw the money. So we never teach people to withdraw the money because if you withdraw the money, you have no more money left inside of the policy. So what you do, you take a loan against that, but you leave something, right? You don't go out and you have $200,000. You take a $200,000 loan. You can get up to 90% of that, right? You say 90% of $200,000. So, but your $200,000 remains in your account and keeps growing for you. But that loan that you took, guess what? It is a loan that now, if you want to do infinite banking, you can do your business, drop that money back into the policy, but that's a loan. Sometimes people don't even need to pay back, So you talked about the interest on that. The interest on this loan, my friend, it is a net zero interest. So that means if it acquires a 2% interest, the company has something that they do in your account that gives you a 2% interest so that you can balance the interest that you have with the loan that makes the loan a net zero loan. It's a wash, my friend. That's why a lot of people are using it.
Man, sound like a win, man. I definitely want to get in your class as well to learn some more about this because I understand it's a great thing. And I actually, the guy who I think started Infinite Banking, I read his book. I didn't read it. I heard it on Audible, his book years ago. So I'm definitely very much interested in doing more of this, have several different other policies as time goes on, man. But I'm so glad that you're doing what you're doing, man, and helping so many people.
Sir.
But I wanted to ask you again, man, I want you to talk about it's possible, man, because you fired me up, bro. I want the people to get as fired up as you do for me when I hear you talk on that, man, because not only do you do this, you also are speakers, correct? And so kind of speaking on those lines, what does that mean? Let me hear a little bit more about that too.
Well, it's possible is to tell you that here is what happens, man. Most people give up on their goals and dreams. It's because they get to believe that this goal and dream is not possible anymore. As you pursue your goals and your dreams, your faith will be tested. Your courage will be tested as you pursue your goals and your dreams because life is a fight, right? Les Brown says that life is a fight for territory. And the minute you stop fighting for what you want, what you do not want will automatically take over. So that's why you got to get up every day and fight for your life. Fight for what you want, fight for your goals, fight for your dreams, fight for your family. You got to get up and fight every day. So as you fight, sometimes you may fall, but your success in life does not depend on your ability to never fall. It depends on your courage to get up every time you fall. So once you fall, you get up, you will reach your goal. If you stay long enough in the fight, my friend, you're going to win. If you stay in the game, my friend, you're going to win because there is no other way. The reason people fail is because when they fall, they stay on the ground. But if you get up, you keep going, there is no other way because the dream, the goal has been built for you. You're not building that goal. You are just walking towards the goal that has been built for you already. It's there. The people you need, the money you need has been created for you, has been printed for you already. So that means just wake up, man. Get up every time you fall and reach your goals and reach your dreams, my friend.
Man, my guy, I feel like getting in a boxing fight right now myself. I love it, my guy. I love it, man. But if anybody want to connect with you, again, tell me how can they get in touch with you, my brother?
Instagram, It's Possible Podcast 1 on YouTube. It's Possible Podcast. Just go ahead, man. That's how you can reach me. Our business here is Fayetteville, Georgia, 353 Glen Street North, Fayetteville, Georgia. So yes, 30214. That's our address.
Man, I appreciate you so much for giving us your time. I'm telling you, if y'all not fired up, I don't know what's wrong with you. But yo, go out here and win the day. Like he said, life is never going to be fair, but it's up to you to make it work and go out here and win on purpose. Be great.
That's it, man. Thank you so much.
No doubt. Thank you for coming in, bro.
Appreciate you, man.